So I'm going to discuss the backward element with you, which we call the backward stretch. And I want you to be aware of 3 points when we're doing the backward stretch. And these 3 points are often major faults that we see when we're looking at man or lady moving backwards. The first one you need to be aware of is that once you have your position, your line up and your body stretch, that when you move backwards, having stretched the foot, which is a very important point to do, you need to stretch the foot, you must not at this point break your body line as you move back. So the first fault, the most important one, because of course it's postural, is the body line breaks. So that's the first thing to be aware of. When we go backwards, we must be aware of the muscular support from underneath the hip points. If I just turn around, you can see there. As I move backwards, I must use that support, and there is an upward feel as I start to stretch back. If I allow this area to relax, you can see what's going to happen. I'm going to lose my 4 blocks of weight. So an upward muscular support as I stretch backwards and take the final step onto the new supporting foot. So number 1, don't break your body line. Number 2, you must be aware of your timing. So if you take your backward stretch and move your weight off your foot too quickly, of course, you're not going to be in harmony with your partner. It's going to be very difficult to feel your instructions coming forward, and you will probably, or more than likely, have a gap between you. So as you take your backward stretch, feel the timing from the centres of the body. Be aware of time as you're moving backwards. So timing is the second point that is very, very important moving backwards. And the third point, which we see quite frequently, is that the weight, when the final movement is taken, comes from the upper part of the body. So we get a back-weighted position. And so to prevent this from happening, firstly, it's very important to be aware of the upward pull of the head weight, and as I mentioned, the support from the muscle. But this is really important, the push factor from the thigh helps to move the centre of gravity of the body backwards. So keep the long spine, push from the thigh, stretch the foot, and move the centre of gravity. And when you arrive in your position, you will have your 4 blocks of weight lined up, and you will not have a situation where you're then struggling for balance. So we find from our arrival a position that we call the moment of truth. And the moment of truth is when the pelvis is centred right through the foot, and you will feel an evenly balanced position. So you won't feel as if your weight's right in the ball of the foot, and you won't feel your weight is in the heel of your foot, but you'll feel you're perfectly centred through your supporting foot. And that's a very good guideline to make sure that your weight arrives in that position. And we're always aiming to try and find that position in our foot. So now what we'll do the backward elements like we did with the forward one, and we're going to start standing on the right foot, and we're going to take our stretch, and we're going to go back, and we're going to repeat that again. So stretch back. Okay, then we're going to change our weight, and we're going to do it on the opposite foot, stretch and push. And once again, stretch and push. And then we're going to turn, do the same thing again, stretch, push, the same again, changing weight. And we go, this time we're going to change weight, so now the left foot back. Repeat again. And now I'm going to change direction. And right foot back. Repeat once again, right foot back. Now we're going to change weight, left foot back. Once again. Good. And then the last one, and we're going to change direction. So from here, right foot back. I'm going to be very careful in case Richard treads on me. And right foot back, stretch. Good. Now we're going to change weight. Back we go. He was very careful then. And stretch. Okay, and then we finish.
The four joint position, and when you move backward, you have the stretch first, and then the knee and the thigh muscle producing the movement backward. Drive of the hip joint to give you the four joint position, and when you move backward, you have the stretch first, and then the knee and the thigh muscle producing the movement backward.
When we're executing the challenge, I want you to be aware of three things. Firstly, the stretch of the spine that we've already talked about and the 4 blocks of weight. Secondly, stretching the foot backwards. So we've got 2 stretches, one of the spine, one of the back foot. And the third point is the push from the knee and the thigh of the supporting foot. So there's your 3 points. 2 stretches and 1 push. And what that will help you to do is, which is the key of the whole of the elements, is to move the centre of gravity of the body. And those 3 points will help you to do that.